evening. Can I have your attention, please? We're going to go ahead and get started. Sorry we're a little bit late. Thank you everybody for coming to our AMSA meeting this evening. Before we even get started, I just want to, if everybody has seen the pile of bottles in the back corner, I just want to say congratulations to all of you. Very first night, and throw up some hands for Chris over there. That's Chris and Christian. I don't want to forget Christian as well, so thank you for that. Alright, I just want to say that. I'm going to pass it on to Trevor now.
Alright, hello everyone. Thank you guys for coming again to our meeting today. By show of hands, who all here went to our Coffee of UCF College of Medicine Coffee with the Comm event? And by show of hands, can one person just say, someone raise their hand that went and just say how they thought the event went? Someone that had their hand up over here? Anyone that had their hand up? Someone over here? You want to go ahead and speak about the event?
What we basically did was we got to talk with one of the deans, and there was the panel. I'm not sure who was here for the med school panel at one of the meetings, but those same students were there, plus like another 10 or 15. So we got to talk with them in a kind of casual setting, asking some questions. And then we got the tour of the med school, which kind of showed all of us a whole new view of it, because I'm not sure if everyone has seen it. It was absolutely amazing. The anatomy lab is just so high-tech and really cool. And then we got into small groups, and we were kind of like one-on-one and with another med student, and we got to kind of go more in depth about, you know, kind of personal concerns about getting to med school and all that. So it was a great experience. Definitely makes me want to go to UCF Med so much more than I already did. Really laid back, but you got to really get to know these med students and what their life is like every day. You know, most of them gave us their emails if you wanted to talk to them about something that kind of came up. So for next year, I definitely recommend it. If you didn't go this year, definitely go, because you learn so much than what a book kind of, you know, med school tips can tell you.
Thank you. It's a lot nicer to hear from someone that, you know, has been there for the first time. I've been there all 3 years. I've been an AMSA member. So honestly, when I say it's one of the best events that AMSA puts on in the fall semester, I am not lying. I know everyone. We had like a group of 50 people outside, and they didn't want to leave, and the med students was just like, come on, leave, get out of here. We got to study. But on to some events that we have coming up within the next 2 weeks. One of the big events that we have coming up this Thursday, we're actually teaming up with PPMS, IMO, and MAPS, the other pre-health organization, and putting together an informational from Hofstra School of Medicine by their assistant dean, Dr. Adam McCant. That's going on this Thursday. It's going on at 6 p.m. in Psych 108. It's not only will Dr. McCant be there, but there will be a representative from a medical school in Philadelphia, as well as another medical school representative from Mount Sinai School of Medicine located in New York, which is a great medical school. All of those schools are wonderful. We're glad to have them here telling us about their school. We'd love to see as many good faces, as many AMSA faces there. Again, it's overall a pre-health organization, so it's always nice to see AMSA dominating, you know, wearing your AMSA shirts at the events. It's always nice. So please come out to that event. Also today, for all those that signed in and checked in at the back with the computers, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we have sign-up sheets for what we're starting our Relay for Life committee and our Night-On committee. What those committees will be doing is working with our volunteering directors and making sure that we have a great group to each of those events. Relay for Life, I'm sure a lot of people know that from high school. It's a traditional, you know, where we walk around Memory Mall and we walk all night for cancer. People sleep there on Memory Mall that night, wake up the next morning, do a victory lap, and then we head home from there. So that's a great event. For those who don't know what Night-On is, Night-On actually happens to be UCF's largest philanthropy, and it's with the Children's Miracle Network. Night-On is a 15-hour, now I believe it's 16-hour, full-on dance marathon, where you dance and you stand for 16 hours. When I say you stand for 16 hours, I mean you stand for 16 hours. They have people that are monitoring the bathroom. So it's because people go like sit down there and they're like, yo, come on, get out. Like, you gotta get out. Like, we know you're just trying to sneak away. But it's that serious. It is an amazing, it is probably the most touching event, I think, on this campus. Every hour, one of the miracle children that are part of the Children's Miracle Network actually come up on stage and share their story about, you know, how these donations help them, you know, get over their disease or, you know, prolong their hospital stay and stuff like that, and how it affected their family. It's an amazing event where, again, we're trying to put together a really big team this year. Last year we put together a team of, I believe, 12. And this year we really want to shoot for a bigger number than that, especially with the amount of people we have in this room right now. Apart from that, back to the committees real quick. Before you leave, if you want to be part of any of those 2 committees that I just mentioned, please just sign your name on the committee sheet, and one of our volunteering directors will be contacting you to talk a little bit more about the event and what we are shooting to do. Also, our gender and sexuality shows have a great event coming up next week. It's on Tuesday, right after our leadership meeting. I believe it's at 6. It's actually on your event sheet. And what that event is, it's a screening of Philadelphia. It's a movie starring Tom Hanks, and we're doing it for National Coming Out Day. It actually talks about sexuality and medicine, and it's geared toward the LGBT community, and they're playing medicine. So come out to that. It's a great event. I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but this month is actually LGBTQ History Month. So it's a great event that we're putting on for our LGBTQ students. So also, last but not least, our pre-health barbecue is going on the 4th of November. Just come out. I believe, I'm not sure if that's a game day, but if it is, it's even better. It's the day after the game day, excuse me. So it's a Sunday. The day after the game day, come out and just enjoy some hot dogs and burgers with all the pre-health organizations. AMSA will be there, IMO will be there, PPMS will be there. So just a great way to interact with other pre-health students and see what they're doing in their club and just get to know them. So that's all for me. Thanks, guys.
Just a couple announcements from me. Study nights is still going on, and it's been a success, and we've been getting some pretty good feedback from it, so definitely come out if you can. Hina and Ben, if you guys would like to make an announcement. Crochet for the Cure. Do you want to say something?
Yes. So basically what we're doing is me and Hina are going to teach you guys how to crochet. It's like knitting. We're going to make either hats or blankets, and we're going to donate them somewhere. We don't know yet, but last year we were trying to make baby hats, and we were going to donate to one of the hospitals, but we never got around to making enough hats to actually do that. But this year we're going to get on you guys, and we're all going to make hats together. Come on out.
Wait, you guys do this more than once?
Yeah, it's going to be like either a bi-monthly or monthly event, and we'll teach you how every time you come, and hopefully on your own you can make your own hats, and we'll get a bunch of hats by the end of the semester or the year, and we can donate them somewhere.
So like needles and yarn?
Yeah, we have all the needles for you guys and all the yarn, so you guys are good. Just come out tomorrow. It'll be fun.
And then Wes, one of our academic directors, gave an announcement about Amendment 3 and a volunteering opportunity.
Alright, this is really short notice, guys, but tomorrow I'm going to be going to Focus Orlando to help with phone banking for Amendment 3. I don't know if you guys were here at the meeting like a few weeks ago, but Tish Patel was here and he talked about it. If you look in your event sheet, it gives a really good description of what the event is and how you guys can help. But we'll be meeting tomorrow at 4:30 at Milligan Hall, so yeah, I could really use some supporters. Alright.
And then we have 2 medical school trips coming up, and I highly suggest you guys come. They're next week. Wes is going to talk about Nova really quick.
Yeah, so November 9th, which is Friday, we'll be leaving really early, probably around like 5 a.m. to drive to Nova, which is down south. I'm not really sure where, but Orlando, right? Thanks, guys.
He's not driving.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to be there like 9:30, and it's going to be like, you know, a few hours long, and then we'll drive back. So yeah, I hope to get a really good turnout. This is the first medical school trip we have, not counting UCF Palm. But anyways, yeah, I hope to see a good turnout that morning, bright and early. Well, it'll still be dark, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and if you can't, oh yeah.
I will let you guys know. I'll have to talk to the representative from there. He didn't actually say how long the tour would last, but it'll probably be later in the day for sure. But yeah, I'll post on the AMSA group on Facebook once I know more details.
And if you're busy Friday, you can always come on Saturday to the LECOM trip. We're going to leave around 6:30 a.m. It's actually an open house that LECOM's having, so you'll get to see everything. It's tailored specifically for pre-med students who are interested in going to LECOM. Whether you're interested in going to these schools or not, I highly suggest going on trips like this. I mean, whenever I go, I'm like, oh, this is where I want to be in a couple years. And it's just really encouraging to see the kind of programs that are available here in the state. So definitely come out. If you are interested in going, either RSVP to medrelations@premedamsa.com, or you can sign up. If you're pretty sure you're going to go, you can sign up. There's a sign-up sheet in the back for both schools. So definitely come check it out. And next, yes, yeah.
Where will we park that money?
Probably Milliken Hall, center of campus. So. And we will provide transportation. Any other questions? Yeah. I'm not sure about the LECOM has a specific schedule, so you'll get more information about it if you sign the interest sheet. Nova will get back in the afternoon probably.
I have an event sheet. Can I pass that out?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. We can, yeah. We can put it in the back.
Okay, yeah. I'll just put it in the back, guys. The interest sheet for the phone banking.
Any other questions? Or? Okay, definitely come out.
Alright, hi everyone, hope everyone's had a good day. So the first thing to talk about is volleyball tournament, which is this Saturday, and we only have 4 teams signed up. So, you guys like going to College of Medicine at UCF, it was a great, I went, it was awesome, I loved it. But how we get there in carpools is by fundraising. This is our biggest fundraiser of the semester. We raise a lot of money for this on this volleyball tournament. We only have 4 teams. So, we really want you guys to come out. It's a donation of $10. Bring yourself, bring friends. We need you guys to sign up online. After the meeting, I'm going to be standing up here. All the directors are supposed to be getting people for their teams. And once teams are finalized, you guys are supposed to be doing it online, so I see it on my Google Docs that I have on my computer. We're going to be standing up here after the meeting. If you guys are interested, come over to me. I'll write you guys down, and we'll try to pair up some teams together and get the team of 6 going. I really want to hit this hard because it is our biggest fundraiser of the semester, and I really want to see everyone out there. It's a great time. We're going to have a night cast out there. It's going to be a fun time. Also, it's not on the event. It is on the event sheet, but each person who goes will be getting 8 points. So there's just an incentive. So come on out.
And don't be afraid, by the way, of like if you can't play volleyball.
Because Davina really can't play either.
I can't
So,
play.
She comes out every year and decides to be in one of our teams.
Okay, anyways, don't be afraid if you can't play. Just come out anyways. It's really fun. You get to hang out with all your AMSA friends, and it's really fun.
It really, honestly, it's the best. I personally, the best event of the semester. That's just yeah, you can bring any of your friends as long as they're UCF students. Bring them because more the merrier. And $10 donation, just so everyone knows. Try to pay online the PayPal account because we really cannot collect money there. But Davina and I are trying to work out something. We'll post it on the Facebook page about trying to be here Tuesday and Thursday and Friday to collect all the money. So keep it in mind. Next is our movie night fundraiser. We're going to be watching The Avengers. It's a $2 donation. It's a fundraiser as well. It's November 15th in the Sand Room 222, I believe, on this floor in the Student Union. So come out, we're going to have popcorn. It's going to be a fun time. It's a nice stress reliever from studying. And it's a nice break. It's a great movie. Also, after this meeting, right? After the meeting course auction, we're going to have a Kaplan course auction. So if you guys are interested, it's valid all the way till June 15th, I think it says. So if you guys, cheap course, come out, it's auction, it's great. Also sweatshirts. We have a pre-sale till tonight at midnight. So if you guys want the Facebook page, pre-order them to $20. After tonight, they will be $25. And we might not have your size, but we're just going to order a couple extra from the pre-orders. So if you really want a sweatshirt, it's $20. Do it by tonight. And everyone who's got one, who paid for one today, I need to see you after the meeting because I didn't get your sizes. And if you need to leave for class, just email me at treasurer.premedamsa.com. Any questions or anything like that?
Or expect an extra large.
Or alright, thank you.
Alright, how's everyone doing tonight? Woo! You've been lively, right? You've been lively Tuesday night?
That's so sweet, guys.
Everyone's like, yes, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So volleyball tournament. I still need 2 members. So if you want to come talk to me after the meeting, only if you're good. Just kidding. Just so not to be. All right. So we got Boy Scout tutoring as usual every Thursday, 4 to 6. As Trevor mentioned, we're starting committees. I'm starting my 5K committee. Please sign up. I'm going to need help. We need kind of help naming it. I have the charity for it. If you want to know more about it. We're going to need help designing T-shirts. It won't be till late spring, but the sooner we get started, the better. Next, in your newsletter, you'll see that there's a lot of volunteer opportunities. Our volunteering directors have found plenty of opportunities. We went to Nights Get Back this Saturday. We had 15 AMSA members there, which was great. Waking up bright and early Saturday morning, everyone's favorite thing to do. And but they found more opportunities to put in the newsletter because we can't necessarily go to everything. Or well, I was on homecoming weekend, so the people that aren't really big into homecoming, go volunteer. But we're not going to have any AMSA events that Saturday. What else? Heather's going to have a Give Kids the World. You want to talk about it? Or just,
If you haven't applied, please apply and do a background check. They'll send you an email once you do apply. And the first event will most likely be November 8th, which is on a Thursday. I'll send out information and how to sign up to basically come. But it's not for sure. She has to let me know. But apply. And then also with Nighthon, I signed up a team. So if you have any questions about it, you can just come up to me after the meeting and I'll answer whatever you have. That's it.
And Joe, right here. He's going to talk about Nathaniel's Hope.
Hi guys, Nathaniel's Hope is a program that pretty much helps disabled families, disabled kids and their families. They need a break, so anyone that has disabled kids, they go and they drop them off and we get to play with them and we get to have fun with them. So they need volunteers, but in order to volunteer with them, it's once a month. It's in a church, so I don't know if you guys have any problem with that. You need to attend orientation. So I already talked to the lady, and anyone that's interested, you guys might sign up in the back, and I'll contact you. The rest of the information is in the newsletter. November 2nd, it's a Friday in the morning from 10 to 12. We'll be going, whoever's interested, to attend orientation. And then November 17th is the buddy break, and it's like the whole day, you get to play with them. Families get to have a day off. That's it. You guys have
Yep,
any
we'll be having an AMSA carpool for that as well, and we'll be going to more as long as there's a turnout for the orientation. Yes?
How far away is that?
How far away?
Downtown. The address is in the newsletter.
It's downtown.
About 30 minutes away.
We'll say. Yeah, it's downtown. Alright. Good answer, right? So why have all these volunteer opportunities thrown at you? Because, becoming a doctor in med schools want to see that you are humanistic and not a robot that can just read a book and study and, do the motions but not actually care for your patients. So that's, kind of an incentive to get out there and help people. Show, not tell.
Good evening, everybody. Brad tried this earlier. I'm going to try it again. Can I get an AMSA? Something about me. I appreciate that, guys.
Warm them up.
Loosen it a little. I've got Adopt Road again. We've been having a pretty good turnout for this. This is once again another easy volunteering opportunity. For those of you who are worried about going on campus somewhere and carpooling, it's on campus. All you gotta do is walk out past Garage I, and we clean up the road. It takes like an hour, and then we're done. And you get the hour. I turn in the volunteer form for you. I mean, it couldn't really get any easier. And then the running group. We've been having a lot of fun on the running group on Fridays. Yeah. Shay, how fun is it?
Oh my gosh, guys. All right. I am physically unfit. I ran / power walk 3.52 miles, and I'm proud.
Guys, really, anybody's welcome. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you are. Believe me, I'm not going to be making you run until you throw up. It's not like that. We're out there having fun. It's beautiful out there. Nobody even realizes that those trails are out there. It's so nice. And really come on out and join us. It's a lot of fun. And I already said it at the beginning, but have you guys seen that pile of water bottles back there? It's absolutely mind-blowing. I want to, congratulate all of you. One more round of applause for all of you. This is the first time we've done this, and you guys have done a fantastic job. And congratulations to our community and wellness directors for doing that. So I'm going to have Chris come in and talk about it, but don't forget Christian's part of it too. So.
Hello everyone, I am absolutely blown away on how many water bottles we collected for the first meeting that we started collections. I'd like to remind everyone that you can bring more than 30 water bottles, and what we're doing is we're going to tally all of them up, and at the last general meeting we're going to have a nice special surprise for you, for the person who collects the most water bottles. Christian, is there anything else that you'd like to elaborate on?
Just, there's 30 bottles equal 10 points. That's the cap for each meeting. But yeah, we definitely encourage everybody to bring more than 30 bottles. We see a large amount of bottles right here, so you guys definitely went over 30, but I just want to clarify that you can bring more. So.
At the end of the meeting, we would appreciate having a couple members sort and crush and package all the bottles and take it out, and we'd be done with that. So thanks guys, and bring more next time. What? Crush them yourself? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. That'd actually be preferred.
Please do.
Yeah, because you can see there's a lot of space.
If you didn't hear that, you can get 10 points for bringing in water bottles. If you live in a dorm, if you live in an apartment, and you just collect them, that's 10 points. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So I know I say this every time, but we're just throwing those points.
Yeah, 3 points.
Yeah, he's like, 8 points for water bottles. I didn't say that.
And I noticed some of you had water bottles now with you. Yeah, just go get points for those. Just go back there.
Great job with that, guys. Now I'm going to have Jen come up and talk about gym buddies and their girls.
Hi. So we're starting gym buddies. It's going to be twice a week. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different group exercises out of the RWC. They do have a locker room, so if you're like me and you live an hour away, you can just pack all your stuff in a bag, and they have showers. And also, if you guys ever want to just get together and do a class that I don't have listed, just email me. You can find me on Facebook or studentlife-and-wellness@premedamsa.com, and I'll go work out with you. I'm not a good spotter, but everything else will be fun. And then we have intramurals for soccer going on. Soccer. If you're interested, just let us know on our Facebook website, because we need a couple more members to start a team.
Alyssa,
did everyone hear that?
Alyssa Fundora, our other wellness and student life director, is putting together an intramural team. So, guys, girls, everyone, contact her if you're interested. There's something else you can do with AMSA that's fun and not super competitive. If you notice a general theme here, we're doing a lot of like outdoors and semi-athletic things. I don't know if the residents can vouch for this and the med schools can vouch for this, but the med schools want to see a well-rounded individual. You can't just go to class, go home and study, come take the test. You have to do other things. You have to be a member of your community and society. I think, Brad said, well, you can't be a robot. So please come and join us on these things, make some friends, get some physical activity, and be a part of AMSA. That's what you're here for, right? Woo! It's on the event sheet as well as the calendar on the AMSA website.
I put up 2 a week on the calendar, and I'll post them on Facebook. But if you ever want to do a different class or you just want to go lift weights with me, just let me know, because I live here. So.
It's wellness and student life at premedamsa.com.
Thank you.
Okay, that's been enough time. So,
Hey guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and quickly announce our member and directors of the month. Even though it's October now, we're going to do one for September and October. So this is just for recognizing people who have, outstanding achievement with AMSA. They attend events. They're always there helping the officers or directors, things like that. So for the September member of the month, sorry if I pronounced the names wrong, Fernando Montalvo.
Fernando. Fernando's actually leading AMSA with points, and Fernando actually lives all the way in Daytona. So he drives and makes his commute all just for AMSA. So thank you.
And then for our September Director of the Month, we have Hillary Bengston.
Thank you, Hillary. In Hillary's first month of being a director, Hillary got 15 AMSA members, research opportunities with the Florida Hospital at Celebration, and that's all because of Hillary. So.
And then for the October Member of the Month, we have Andrew Bedouar. And then the October Director of the Month is Jake Samberski. Really appreciate it, and we hope all of you guys look to them as, followers, follow them, and, strive to be just as successful and amazing.
All right, guys. So, as you guys see, we have Dr. Sandoval and a few other DO residents, as well as Dr. Hartman here to talk to us a little bit more about osteopathic medicine. But the best part about when they come in is they don't just come in to talk to you about what they do. They bring osteopathic residents, and the irony of this is that our first 2 medical trips are with LECOM and NOVA, which both happen to be osteopathic medical schools. So at least now we get a little overview of what osteopathic medicine is, and what they do with their fields. So can we welcome Dr. Sandoval, Dr. Hartman?
Hey everyone, my name is Allison Amore. I'm a 3rd-year medical student at Nova Southeastern University College of Osteopathic Medicine. I'm going to talk just very briefly about the history of osteopathic medicine. Osteopathic, I don't need it. I'm very loud. I don't know, they might not be able to hear you. Okay. Osteopathic medicine is a philosophy of medicine which postulates the musculoskeletal system as the primary manifestation of health and disease. And by influencing somatic systems by manipulation, it restores strictly normal dynamic anatomy and therefore maximizes health and comfort to the individual. Back in the late 18th century through much of the 19th century, the dominant field of medicine was heroic medicine. Mostly this consisted of bloodletting, purging of the stomach and the bowels, and the use of calomel, which is a mercury-based compound, and other poisonous substances. The father of osteopathic medicine, A.T. Still, was born in 1826, so he was born right in the middle of this whole heroic medicine movement. He was really unhappy with the way that medicine was being practiced, and he really felt that it was unsafe in a lot of ways. A.T. Still's medical career began in 1854 in Kansas. His first patients were the Shawnee Indians, and Still's training was mostly by apprenticeship with his father, which is kind of how medicine is taught today, where you do your clinical years in your 3rd and 4th year of medical school, you go on to your internship and your residency, and you're kind of taught by the people who have experience before you. The pivotal years for him were February in 1864, 3 of his children died of spinal meningitis, and in 1867 his father died of pneumonia. And he really felt that he could do more to help these people and people in general with different types of medicine. A.T. Still was fascinated with machinery, and he still frequently raided graves of the Native American Indians to study anatomy. That was really common in that era because cadavers weren't available. He read as many anatomy books as he could obtain, and he believed as man as a machine. And the big day that osteopathic medicine was born was June 22nd, 1874. He rejected traditional medicine and developed his concepts of osteopathy. And the big saying is that he flung to the breeze the banner of osteopathy. His vision of health was that health is maintained by unobstructed blood flow and impulses of nerves. And he wanted to remove any of these obstacles through manipulation. His first school of osteopathy opened in October of 1892 in Kirksville. He had 21 students, huge age range of 18 to 65, and at least 5 women in the class. That was really important because most of the allopathic or MD schools, or actually none of them, had any women in their schools at this time. Licensing of DOs in general, we're fully licensed physicians in all 50 states. We're able to practice in any medical specialty. We're equivalent to the MD, but we have something extra, where we use our hands to diagnose and treat. We have unlimited practice rights also in roughly 50 countries. The osteopathic approach is a little different than the allopathic approach, but very similar. Nearly 60% of DOs practice in the primary care setting, many in rural and underserved areas. We take a more whole person approach where we treat more of the patient as someone who has a person with a disease rather than the disease itself. So we take in a lot more of like the cultural sensitivity and people's ethnic backgrounds and their personal beliefs into treating them. There are 4 osteopathic principles that we believe in and we train with. Is the body functions as a unit, kind of how all the joints move together. Structure and function are interrelated. The body possesses self-regulatory mechanisms. These are things like hormones that naturally occur. And that the body has an inherent capacity to heal and repair itself. That's like blood, clotting and the immune system and everything like that. And finally, one of my favorite quotes from A.T. Still is to find health should be the object of the doctor. Anyone can find disease. Thank you.
I'm going to introduce myself and then we'll continue. But I want to thank all of you for coming in. I know it's difficult taking time away from class, from tests, studying, all that. So thank you for giving us the hour of time today. My name is Javier Sandoval. I'm a family physician. I finished my residency at Florida Hospital East Orlando in 2008. And I've been in private practice, and for the last year and a half, I've been working for the federal system. I work for the Orlando VA Medical Center. I'm very happy and satisfied with osteopathic medicine, how it's worked out for me, and all the opportunities it's offered. But for more recent information, I want to introduce Dr. Melissa Hartman and our medical students, and at the end is Dr. Woody Weeks, our chief resident at East Orlando Florida Hospital. Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Hartman. I graduated from UCF in 2003. Go Knights! Then I went on to Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, so I can tell you about that side of things. Then I came back to Orlando and did my family medicine residency training at East Orlando as well. And then I decided I wanted to kind of subspecialize in family medicine, and so I went ahead and did a women's health fellowship at Florida Hospital after that. And now subsequently have opened a practice in Avalon Park about 3 months ago. And I'm accepting new patients if you guys want to come see me. And my office manager was really nice, and she brought you guys some chapstick and hand sanitizer and goodies in the back.
What are the hearts?
Oh, the hearts are pedometers, I believe. Yes, pedometers.
Again, Allison Amore, third-year medical student from Nova.
I'm a classmate. My name is David. I'm also a third-year medical student doing rotations at Florida Hospital, East Orlando.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Mike Venezia. I'm a third-year medical student from LECOM. I'm also a core medical student at Florida Hospital, and I also graduated from UCF in 09. I haven't missed a home game, so go Knights.
Hello guys, as Dr. Sandoval said, I'm Woody Weeks. I'm a third-year chief resident at Florida Hospital in Family Medicine, Florida Hospital East Orlando. I graduated from Nova Southeastern in 2010. Prior to graduating from there, I completed a one-year fellowship, so I did an additional year of medical school in osteopathic manipulative medicine. And in June, I am moving to Georgia to open a rural practice and do full service family medicine minus obstetrics.
Well, I don't know. I'll open the forum for you guys to ask any questions. We don't have a formal presentation. I believe it's probably easier to start by answering some questions. So, anything is fair game. Go ahead and ask.
As a DO, are the same specializations available as there are in allopathy?
All specialties are available in the DO world as they are in the
And also, as a follow-up to that, we many times, all of us here, all of the doctors here, have actually trained in osteopathic programs, but we are equally capable of matching to and training in the MD programs. So
you have broader options to choose from. Since you can apply to both DO and MD residencies, you have more options to choose. So that's the benefit that we have.
Can you do like a more in-depth example of how DO is different from osteopathic? Go ahead,
the one that's done probably the most in osteopathic manipulative medicine, and that's probably the one biggest difference that we have is our emphasis on osteopathic manipulative medicine and the idea that function of the body and structure are interrelated. So in a primary care setting like myself, if I have a patient that comes in with low back pain secondary to some injury, a motor vehicle accident or something like that, in addition to prescribing painkillers and muscle relaxers, I may also choose to incorporate some manipulation where we stretch muscles, and some would say that it looks like what a chiropractor does when they crack the back. Some would say it looks more like what a physical therapist does. And but basically, we put our hands on the patient and try to get pain relief and return homeostasis to the body that way.
Good explanation.
Are there any limitations to fellowships? I know on residencies there's no limitation for MDDO, but are there any for fellowships?
No, I mean, no, all fellowships available. Like for example, give me an example of a fellowship you.
Like oncology, like that is a pediatric residency and an oncology fellowship.
As far as I know, that's what you're hoping for DOs. And if there are no DO programs, you will be applying to an MD program that, and I think it's very open. So as far as I know,
you just have to do your fellowship in the same world that you do your residency. So if you choose to do a DO residency, then you will have to subsequently do a DO fellowship. But if you start out in an MD residency, you could then do an MD fellowship.
So after you get into medical school and about to apply for residency programs, it's wise to look for a hospital that also offers a fellowship in there, and that way it's going to be a smooth transition.
That's new this year.
So as far as I understand, if you do a residency at a program that can let yourself know, then the fellowship directors have a better idea of who you are, and you have a better chance to take the fellowship from the hospital that you do residency at. So it's better to choose hospitals based upon what you want to do and go from there. Go ahead.
2 questions. Do Nova and LECOM have fellowship programs?
So for LECOM, all medical schools, whether it be DO or an MD school, typically have residency programs associated with them. All of LECOMs are associated in Pennsylvania at the core school in Erie, and they all operate through Mill Creek, a big hospital up there. And so they have almost every residency program and every fellowship through that hospital.
And Nova is in the Tri-County area. It's in Miami-Dade, Broward, and West Palm, and it includes all specialties.
But Nova's also affiliated with Florida Hospital East Orlando, St. Vincent's University up north. So they do have affiliations with multiple programs, residencies and fellowships.
Affiliations don't guarantee anything. They can help you get into a rotation possibly, but they're not going to really put you ahead in any specific way.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about being chief president, and how did you go about accepting the actual position?
Well, I must say that that both Dr. Sandoval and Dr. Hartman were chief residents before me. Dr. Hartman was chief resident when I was chief intern, and Dr. Sandoval was chief resident when I was a osteopathic fellow. Yeah. So, back before we had modern technology at the hospital. So I've always liked leadership, so that's one of the reasons. But I did my core rotations at Florida Hospital, so I was already familiar with the system, and so it was kind of a natural path for me to go into the chief role as a chief intern, and then it turned into being second-year representative and third-year chief resident. So, but I enjoy the administrative part of it. But it's definitely a lot more work. It's time-consuming.
How do they, this will sound very strange, how how do they go about choosing the chief president? Is it like Grey's Anatomy kind of thing? I didn't watch that episode, but usually you will present yourself to the residents as an intent to become chief. Usually there's some sort of speech required. Oh, I got the microphone again.
It's off.
Oh, it's off. Good. Okay, so normally you present yourself like a speech to the residents, and then the residents will vote, and then the faculty will also do a vote. If there's a tie between those two votes, then the director of the residency program will be the tiebreaker. So it's kind of you're elected by your residents, but also by the faculty. Yeah, I don't know how they did it on Grey's Anatomy. I don't know who to pick.
I had two questions. Can you just describe in brief how your med school experience was different from an MD school experience? And then if you could describe a little bit about the PBL at LECOM.
Yeah. Okay, so I can go ahead and start out. So problem-based learning is what LECOM does. We basically do 2 hours, 3 days a week of case-based studies. So say there's a 41-year-old guy that comes in with a heart attack, and we take that from the initial emergency room all the way through doing labs and imaging and treatment, and through those subsequent pages, they basically are pages that we order new tests and progress through this case and follow the prognosis of the case. We choose topics based on what we're doing. So if we're doing a guy with a heart attack, we're going to do the physiology, the pathology of the heart. We're going to do pharmacology of stuff that's related to treating a heart attack. We might do biochemical stuff, anatomy. So you select your own topics. It's kind of where the students are allowed to select what they think is most important, but by all means it's guided. They know what you're going to choose, and there's a little bit of variance per each group. And so basically we assemble a test at the end of our blocks, and they vary a couple of chapters, but for the most part they're very similar. It's very neat because we walked in, my first rotation was with chief resident and IM, and you feel a little bit more familiar with the way cases are presented and presenting a case, because we have to present a case every morning with kind of a synopsis and follow-up, and just like you would do in your third and fourth year. So I felt like it was extremely cool to where I didn't like coming to class. I didn't go to class at UCF. It just didn't happen for me. So it worked out perfect for PBL because I like to study on my own. And I had the ability just to be in a group discussion where you could discuss what you didn't know and take the time the rest of the week to do what was most important for you.
Okay. And so in a traditional system-based learning, which is what most other schools are, and I went to Nova, which was system-based learning. The first year was basic medical sciences, biochemistry, physiology, anatomy, neuroanatomy, histology, those sorts of things. Second year was all systems, so we started out with cardiovascular and went to pulm and renal and all that kind of stuff. So the first 2 years of your classroom experience are very much lecture style and in an auditorium like this with labs that go along with it, obviously. And then third and fourth year look exactly the same for both. So when you're looking at system-based versus problem-based learning, you're only looking at the difference in the first 2 years. And as someone who's had the opportunity to evaluate a lot of students in the last few years, I will say that those students who go to problem-based learning initially start out a little bit stronger in the hospital. They're more clinically minded as opposed to trying to bridge their basic medical sciences with the clinical setting. Obviously they all end, and I went to system-based learning, so I'm kind of knocking what I did, but they all graduate the same doctor and have the same knowledge, but in a clinical setting, in a Grey's Anatomy type setting, they probably do just a tad bit better because they're used to that style of presenting cases and coming up with differential diagnoses. And so there's definitely, when you go to look at that, I really encourage you to look at both very closely and be very, like he said, be very self-reflective about what you think is going to work well for you. If you're not going to go to lecture, don't go to Nova because they have an attendance policy and it's strictly enforced, like an 80% or 70% attendance policy. So those are things you want to look at when you choose your school. And then to answer your second question on the difference, basically there are PBL and system-based learning in both the MD and DO world, so that's no different. The requirements for what you have to learn are 100% the same, plus in the DO world you do about 300 to 400 more hours in the musculoskeletal system in the manipulative medicine. But as far as the other part of medicine, it's 100% the same.
Okay, thank you.
You're in charge.
Yeah.
This is like a two-part question. I'm sorry, I know some of this is one of those, but I want to be, I'm not from this country, and I really want to be able to go back to where I came from and practice medicine there. How would you go about, achieving that, or what would you have to do to be able to do that? And also, what is the relationship between like schools and the military? Because I also plan to be.
Okay, well, as the military goes, there is open access. DOs. When I was in my class, there were 3 guys in the Air Force, and as soon as they finish medical school, they will be commissioned to join the Air Force, the Navy, or the Army. And then, well, what they believe is they are officers first. They go for the officer school. Anybody in the military here? No? Okay. So I think they go through officer school, basic training to become really a military person, and then they will do their internship and residency within the military. And then I believe, depending on what they need, you will be deployed overseas or stay in the United States. I have a friend who he wanted to do radiology, and he was in the Navy, started in the Navy, finished medical school, and was immediately commissioned. He was sent to Afghanistan immediately. Okay. As he was there, he had to train in emergency medicine because that's what they needed. So he became an ER physician. When he finished his commitment, he returned to the U.S., and now he's a second-year radiology resident. So even though we were contemporary, he's behind because he had to serve, pretty much give back that time that they paid for his medical school. I think it's a year for a year. So pretty much the military, apparently, they will use you as a physician for what they need. Keep it in mind what you want to do. But in his case, he was willing to trade emergency medicine for a little while and then do radiology, which is pretty selective.
They're having trouble hearing over there.
I'm so sorry.
They're having a party back there.
Yeah. Anybody, any questions? Did I answer your question? Did I answer? About different countries, any recent knowledge? I know we are able to practice in Spain, Portugal, Germany, a pretty good part of South America. Chile, I mean the specifics I don't know exactly, but go ahead.
I'll tell you what the deciding factor there is, and this is an important part of the osteopathic history. Soon after A.T. Still founded osteopathic medicine, a guy named John Littlejohn, who was an osteopath who studied under him, separated from him and moved to England and started osteopathy there. He went extreme in regards that he renounced all of modern medicine as far as medicines or of any type of surgeries, and only did manipulative medicine. So thus was born what we call the British School of Osteopathy. And the British School of Osteopathy is throughout the world, but specifically in countries that have an association with the United Kingdom. And those DOs are very different than us. They're diplomats of osteopathy. They're not medical doctors at all. And as silly as this may sound, one of the problems we've had in certain hospitals and in certain countries is explaining to the government the difference between a DO from a British School of Osteopathy and a DO from an American school. So just know that any DO you meet who trained outside of the United States is not actually a medical doctor. They don't have Western medicine training. They only have training. And many of them are in the exact same schools as chiropractors. So that is one of the challenges that we have when it comes to Chile, that you can get practice rights there, but it's just a process. But it would also be a process as an MD also, because you have to validate your medical school training and your residency training. And in some of those countries, you have to work 1 year under supervision and things like that.
Both MD and DOs, by the way. I mean, you have to be licensed in the state or in the country and seek privileges there. So it's the same.
Our website.
we looked it up, you have unlimited rights.
You have to take a Spanish practical exam, but instead of unlimited rights.
Yeah, most of them want to know that you speak the language of the country. It's the same if you come here. You have to pass that same test.
If you go on osteopathic.org, they have all the listings of all of the countries that we have full practice rights in and kind of their requirements. So if you're interested in taking a look at where you could go to practice, it's on osteopathic.org. Yep.
Gosh, that was fast. Okay, you.
All right. How did you, when you were in your for all of you, when you were in your undergrad years, how did you decide that I'm going to make this decision to go to DO school, especially when everyone around you was like, hey, I'm DMD, and you maybe you had a passion, or like, what was it that made you say, I'm going to DO school, that's what I'm doing?
Yeah, when I first came to undergrad, I didn't know what DO was.
I had no idea.
So I had my doubts, and my first question was, is this really a legit school? And I found out later that only 6% of the licensed positions in America is DO. So 94% of the positions are MDs, just for 6%. So it's obvious, it's natural that not many people know about what DO is, wherever you go. And so the second question was, is it worth going through 4 years of suffering to be recognized as something less than a doctor? You could say. So those two are the doubts that I had in mind. But after going through each years in medical school in osteopathic medicine, I realized that this is one of the best decisions that I've made. So I can assure you that you get good training and even more training on top of what MDs get, because MDs have limitation on only just prescribing drugs and medicating the patients, but we have alternative way to also treat them with our hands-on technique. So for example, if a patient comes in with a severe headache, MDs can only prescribe different medications, pain medications, all that, but we can also do different hands-on techniques, something like OA decompression to control the nerve toning, and also cranial rhythmic impulse to see how the brain is interacting with the whole pain mechanisms. So there's a lot of additional understanding of what you get as you interpret the patients, and there's more scope in how you can help them better, more than just prescribing medication. So knowing that I'm better, I have more additional knowledge as compared to what MDs have, I feel more confident in how to help the patients better. So in that regards, I have no regret of choosing DO over MD school.
As far as me, I was a non-traditional student. I graduated from college way back in 2005, and I'm a third-year medical student. So I kind of did something else. And DO schools are very friendly towards non-traditional students. Also, the primary care focus of the DO philosophy was very appealing to me. I want to stay in primary care, and I like the underserved and rural area populations. So that whole focus, and really, especially at Nova, they really push rural and underserved. For 3 of my rotations in my 4th year, they are rural rotations. So I really like that aspect of doing primary care medicine and rural medicine and underserved populations, and that's a very strong focus for DO schools. So that's kind of what drew me to that aspect.
I can give you guys one other side, because I didn't really come in with the whole really knowing a lot about DO, and I don't really want to go into primary care. I want to be a surgeon, and I really felt like the osteopathic schools, you get a lot more experience in anatomy because you're using a lot of this stuff. It's all musculoskeletal based, and I feel like that gives you a pretty good advantage. That seemed pretty cool to me. 2 of my fraternity brothers were at LECOM a year ahead of me, so I kind of got some guidance from them, and I got to hear a lot of great things about the schools, and incredible board score rates, and just just a really well-rounded education. So it really just fit in with me, and I wanted to stay in Florida and very close to Orlando. So it really fit in well, and I grew really to really learn about the osteopathic principles, and it really kind of it's pretty cool, and you do get a unique experience. And like I said, the extra anatomy is for someone like me, it's extremely cool. So I like that part of it.
And moving on to the 3rd year, and I see a lot of residents and the practicing physicians, and especially looking at Dr. Weeks and working with his colleagues. They are really outstanding at coming up with medical assessment and plans, and they're really confident in what they do. So I saw the confidence, I saw their depth of knowledge, and so then I realized that MDOs are just as good as MDs, if not better. So, you know,
it's not biased at all.
No. So, funny story, a couple weeks ago, I'm moving, so I'm going through all my old stuff. I shredded 27 applications to medical school. And looking back, I realized that was dumb. A lot of money went down the drain. What happened with me was I was MD, MD, MD all the way. And then Nova had an open house, and I decided to go down and check it out because one of my friends was going. And I was totally amazed to learn the difference between what an MD and a DO can do. I'm a proceduralist at heart. I love doing procedures. I love using my hands. So the fact that I had that extra avenue to help patients through whatever situation was going on was very appealing to me. I also found that they were more friendly. DOs tend to be kind of happy, and I'm a happy person, so that was very appealing to me. So looking back at my 27 applications and who knows how many thousands of dollars later, I'm very happy that I made the decision I did. I actually ended up withdrawing all of my applications and going purely DO in the end, so that's my story.
I have a quick experience. So just so you know, I was accepted at both MD and DO schools, and I chose DO, mostly because I really liked Nova, the same as Dr. Hartman. The school itself is a beautiful campus, and it's in Fort Lauderdale, and I thought that would be really cool. So I really chose it almost purely based on location and not on the degree. So yeah, just so you know, I could have gone both ways. But the other one was, and I did like Dr. Hartman, I withdrew all my other applications, but the other MD school I'd been accepted at that time was Mercer University in Macon, Georgia. So Fort Lauderdale, Macon, I just decided Fort Lauderdale.
I think for me it was very similar to Dr. Hartman. Actually, I was at UCF just like you guys back in 1997. and just by, I was the Sergeant of Honors. So who's the Sergeant of Honors right now? That was me. So attendance, taking money from people, you know, making sure they pay the dues. And one of my friends said, you know what? This weekend is the Nova Southeastern Open House. And it's on Saturday. It's at 9 a.m. to like 4 p.m., something like that. And it's all the HPD, the Health Professions Divisions of Nova Southeastern, optometry, pharmacy, dentistry, osteopathic medicine. I'm like, okay, I got nothing else to do, and I don't have a test on Monday, so let's go. So we got up, you know, we used this car, because mine was all video. We drove to Fort Lauderdale. It's about 2.5, 3 hours. It would take me 4 hours. And we made it there, and just like Harvard, they were so welcoming of us, you know, a complete auditorium of 300 people coming in just to hear from the students, from the faculty. They took time to just meet and answer all the questions. Then they gave us a very detailed tour all over the campus. The anatomy lab was pristine. It was just like, it felt like the state of the art. I forgot to mention that I had been previously touring the other campuses, Gainesville, Tampa, and I went to Jackson Memorial. That was a little bit of a different experience. So I felt so embraced by the Nova Southeastern experience that it felt like home. That this is it. I should come here. So I started the process now knowing what it was like to visit a DO institution. I ended up applying to 9 different medical schools, 5 DO, 4 MDs. I got accepted to NYCOM in New York, which is an osteopathic institution, Nova Southeastern, and I was on the waiting list at the MD in Tampa. Okay? Just because of the selection process, Nova allows to do like an early decision, and I was kind of already knowing by December that I was in. NYCOM let me know by January or February, and then Tampa was a little later, I remember, and they wanted more money. That's what it boiled down to, okay? In the meantime, all the other applications, and by the way, whatever schools you apply to, I will multiply by 1,000. So if you're applying to 5 schools, about $5,000 that you're going to be kind of budgeting, because you're going to have to account for travel time, tickets, hotels, and all that, okay?
Application fees, they charge you just
about
to apply.
$300 per application. So the initial application is about $300, the secondary is about $500, and then to set your spot in at the class that year, it's about $1,000. So that's what happened. So at the end, I get, NYCOM actually sends me the letter first, but Nova says, yeah, you're in, man, don't worry about it, you're going to get it in. It's just that we have a huge class and we're trying to decide who's going to be, So okay, and I really want Nova. But NYCOM sends me the letter first and it gets to my household first. And I'm like, wait, I need to secure something. So I sent $1,000 to NYCOM. And like, I'm not kidding you, 3 days later, the Nova letter arrives and I'm in. And it's $1,000, And I called, like, come listen, can I get some overtime hours? Because I'm working at this at the same time. And there it goes, another 1,000, right? And then I'm like happy. I went down there to get a rent because I know I'm gonna be there by July. And then out of the blue in March, Tampa sends me a letter that they want to give me a second interview. So that little delay in the process. And I said, thank you. I'm already another Southeast. Okay. Still, I get this yearly catalog fake from NYCOM. That was, I don't know why. I remember NYCOM Medical School for some reason. So that's kind of the way it happened. Furthermore, I should add, my wife is an optometrist, and we went together to Nova Southeastern. She's also a UCF grad. And that helped greatly, because he was, splitting the rent. So
I'm sorry, I called on you earlier.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, MD residency for surgeries are typically very competitive. I don't know how they are for DO and the same thing.
Same thing.
Very competitive. Do they have like separate DO residency for surgery and separate?
Yeah, surgical specialties, surgeries, orthopedic surgeries, a separate 5-year residency, ENT surgery, a separate 5-year residency. Just like in the MD world, they're all identical, and they have their own general surgery residencies as well.
And they're as competitive.
Yeah.
But as a DO, you have a better chance of getting in because you have broad options, choosing both DO programs and the MD programs. So you have better chance of getting surgery rotation if you're at Liverpool. So.
Okay, but he's been waiting for the longest time. Sir, please
So
go ahead.
that's kind of stemming from his question.
Okay.
So how would you use your osteopathic manipulation in that setting?
In surgery?
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't.
Quite
honest.
That's not true. There was a lot of research done about post-op patients with ileus, and if you treat them with OMT, ileus is slowing down the bowel. And if you treat them with OMT, their length of stay in the hospital is actually shorter. So you could utilize your skills even in surgery.
Good.
Let me add a little bit, actually. So one of the biggest issues when you do surgery, right? You put people under anesthesia trying to do the surgery. When they wake up, one of the biggest issues that happens is bowel arrest. Your peristalsis ceases, okay? In the same fashion that you're knocked out, your bowel goes to sleep for about 24 to 40 hours sometimes. So one of the biggest issues trying to release a patient post-operatively is you need to be able to eat, have no nausea, no vomiting, pee, poop, pace. Those are the rules after surgery, right? You need to walk, you need to be able to eat, you need to be able to move your bowels. So about the research that Dr. Carmen was talking about is that when we engage into manipulation early on, we have been able to cut down the hospitalization stay post-operatively, which is important because it reduces risk in the hospital for the patient, also for you, because you have to round more times, and if something happens, you are on it, okay? So in Florida Hospital East Orlando, when I was admitting patients there, I would immediately engage their service in manipulation in every patient that was post-op, because it was beneficial for the patient. Also the insurance company, they were asking for it. They wanted them to be on it right away after surgery because they knew that if they were involved in the case, that meant less days post-operatively. So at the end, it also translates in dollars, okay? Does that I got a few perspectives?
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying. I mean, I did a full year of osteopathic manipulative medicine, so I'm very much into that. My comments stem more from the fact that it is more utilized, I guess would be a better way to say it. It's more utilized in a primary care setting, in an outpatient setting. Definitely, there are a lot of surgeons who use it in the inpatient setting, but overall, it's more of an outpatient setting type thing. That surgeons can.
And although I'm not doing a whole lot of manipulation right now in the federal system, it has helped me greatly to coordinate care for those veterans who are coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq with massive injuries. So as a primary care physician, I'm the one who's to screen all these patients quickly to route them to orthopedics, ear, nose, and throat, physical therapy, and all that. So I have a little bit of a deeper understanding than the regular primary care physician to quickly coordinate these patients into those services, because I recognize the deficiencies anatomically and physiologically.
I was curious what your opinions are on getting a dual degree, such as a DO or the Master's in Public Health or a business. Maybe the things that Dr. Hartman in your practice for us at MBA. Do you feel that's beneficial or something else?
It will totally depend on what you want to do long term. If you want to go into kind of more of the community health system, kind of do more research, some of those extra degrees will definitely help. From a business standpoint, now that I've gone through what I've gone through, I would have loved to have more of a business background. They do not teach you business and finances in medical school, so that knowledge would have definitely been helpful. It also depends on the individual at how good you are at balancing things, because let's face it, medical school is very time consuming. It's not difficult work, it's the volume of work, so adding on a second degree on top of it could be very difficult. So you may want to consider getting your business degree ahead of time before you go into school if you're not good at balancing those things. But there are a lot of great programs that have dual programs. I know NOVA has an MPH program. I'm not sure what LECOM has to offer as far as a dual program goes. Did that help answer?
Go ahead.
Okay, I have like a crazy question. So, so like when you get your DO and everything, it's time to go apply for a job. Do most hospitals prefer MD if you have that great opportunity to get a job as a MD person?
As far as that?
Yeah, no. Yes, you have completely the same ability to get a job. Yeah, there are no, the hospitals aren't allowed to discriminate based on that, based on the state laws in every state, and they don't want to either. It was a problem back in the 60s and 70s, but really since the 80s on, that hasn't been an issue at all.
Let me add, just recently, so I've been out in practice now. I had to apply to Florida Hospital for privileges to see patients there. And within a couple months, I was in. It was very easy, and I was, actually top of, of the application process because I had done my residency there. When I switched to the federal government, you're applying to the US of A government, as a DO. It was right on. So I haven't detected any slowdowns or any difficulties applying for any jobs anywhere. You can also observe how insurance companies behave towards this, and I have previous role in insurance companies too. If anybody will have an issue, of course, it will be insurance companies, as you know. No issues whatsoever.
And they pay for our manipulation. So from a financial standpoint, being able to do manipulation definitely is financially rewarding in a practice setting. It's just additional income that you can bill on top of your already office visit.
All right, guys, any last question?
Wow, last.
Maybe two more.
How would you guys suggest going about trying to shadow a DO? What's the proper way to go about?
Well, there's a fantastic opportunity at Florida Hospital East Orlando. The residency program will accept UCF students. It's been set up for several years. So you can contact the Graduate Medical Education Department through Florida Hospital, and they can help gear you towards Dr. Lynn Johnson. She is the interim program director there. And then the other thing I would recommend is, there's a lot of physicians that come to your meetings. Just ask them. There's a lot of DOs up here that may be willing to do that. And then the other thing is there's a lot of resources for DOs. There's the Osteopathic website that could also provide you with some local DOs that might be willing to shadow and mentor.
I know there's one in Oviedo where I work also, and we take pre-med students. So are we writing down our...
Oh, and there's also the Shepherd's Hope program,
right,
which is a free medical service to the, I think it's Orange County system. And they'll allow UCF students to come and shadow the physicians that are working there as well.
So we have a program already at Shepherd's Hope for pre-meds like you guys all over Orlando. I've printed out here of the clinics and the process of how to go about it. And I have a website because you can go everywhere, but the most meaningful website for you right now as an applicant, if you're really interested in this, is www.aacom.org. This is the website that collects all the information about class, demographics, rankings, and all that stuff, okay? So go there, and it's very easy to navigate because it is important about tuition, you know, what schools, how much they charge, what is the projected living expenses, and all those things. Rather than going all over the AOA website and JOA website and all those websites, that's probably the most useful to you guys right now, okay? I'll leave this with your officers in the back, and then I'll leave my information as well. Last question. Okay. But we haven't really taken care of that side a whole lot. So, all right, go ahead, sir.
All right.
We'll stay for you.
We'll entertain another one.
In regards to applying to a DO school, is it required to have a letter from the DO to apply? Some schools do.
It depends on the school. Research your schools. They all have a website for medical school applicants, and it'll tell you the specific criteria. It is strongly suggested that you have one, because then they know you're truly interested.
No, just so you know, NOVA does require one.
So it's legal.
Also, Dr. Lopez, if you're applying with our initially with Dr. Lopez, if you are applying to DO, you definitely almost makes you have a DO application.
One more question? Okay. One more question. Okay. It's a good question. They're all questions.
Okay. As far as in medical school itself, first-year students, sometimes they're able to work, like, have, standardized patients work in the clinical setting. Some schools do that and some schools don't do that. So what does LECOM and NOVA do as far as?
NOVA does
Yeah.
that.
We do it as well.
They have a standardized patient built into the curriculum, and so every, I don't know, couple of months, you have a standardized patient exam, you're videotaped, they present with some sort of problem, and you kind of work it through like you're the doctor.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same way at LECOM. We do 3 or 4 exams a year, whether it be vital signs in first year, ear, nose, throat kind of stuff. And each like exam, say vital signs, you do it 3 or 4 times with standardized patients to get feedback and all that stuff.
And that's to prepare you for boards as well, because there is a session of the boards that is that.
For both MD and DO. And as also far as NOVA for clinical experience, my first week of medical school, I was in a private physician's doctor's office doing histories and physicals on children that walked in the door. It's called IGC. They get you out into the, like every other week, they get you out there with DOs in the community, and it's a great experience because that's really where you learn hands-on. So you're not just doing book work for the first 2 years, for those first 2 years, every other week you're out in the community shadowing and helping the physician.
So at the end of all things, it doesn't really matter whether you are a DO or MD. It's really all up to you. In high school, teachers will feed you. In college, they teach you, tell you what to do. But in medical school, it's really all up to you to gain the knowledge and be the best doctor. So just keep studying and do the best you can. And always have the heart to help out the humanity and make this world a better place for everyone.
And don't give up. I just want to say that too. I applied twice. I didn't get in my first round. Please don't give up. Don't let it dishearten you or anything. If you do get it on the first try, amazing. But please, 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 if this is something you've always wanted to do your whole life like me, don't ever give up. Don't let someone tell you no. Just keep trying. Okay?
Nice. GPA matters a little bit. Volunteer, do something meaningful with your time off, and you're set. Okay?
Take anatomy, histology, and biochem if you can. For me, those were I was so glad I took those. I felt like I breezed through some of the things that my fellow students were really struggling with, and so I could really focus on what I needed to learn, so that for me was very helpful. Time management is huge, so start practicing that now. And do not think that you're going to work while you're in medical school. It's not going to happen. You're going to take out loans. You're going to go into debt. It's okay. Obama supposedly is going to take care of it.
This Saturday, on the 27th, is the Nova Southeastern Open House for HPV. Okay, so if you want to reach him or call him, I'm going to leave information for all of you guys to have. Okay, but it's this Saturday, and then they have another one in February. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so back to the officers now.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, guys. And just want to say that I think that we can all say now, going to LECOM and NOVA, we definitely know what osteopathic medicine is and what's the difference between MD and DO. I can say from 2 years ago, we actually had the core leadership conference for AMSA in this very room. And we had people from NOVA and LECOM. And during our downtime, we asked one of the DOs if they could show us some manipulation. And on the table, we had someone that was, they laid down, and they were like, oh, what happens if I come in with a headache? And I remember that my brother was on the table, and the guy said, lift your head up a little where you feel like you're using your muscle. And he did something. Yeah, he did something where he went underneath my brother's head and was able to massage his muscles or open option to go more into his brain. What is it called? That's what it's called.
Regulates the parasympathetic nervous system.
You want to show them?
But one thing before they show you, the whole purpose of this was when they were doing it, I clearly remember that there was a UCF med school student here, an FSU med student there, and a UF med student there. And the LECOM and NOVA guys were all around the table, and we were all just like, these guys know their stuff. The rest of them were just like, oh, I don't know what he's doing. I'm okay. So yeah, so that's something that something definitely different than DO. Would you guys mind raising your hand if you haven't got a raffle ticket? And again, well, before you raise your hand, thank them again for their wonderful
As far as leadership goes, in the future, your regional director for AMSA is Brittany Martinez. She's a third-year medical student at NOVA. She's a DO. She's the first DO student to ever be elected to AMSA's national board. So it is definitely an opportunity for you guys, and stick with AMSA. Because there are definitely further opportunities as you go through, whether you're DO or MD.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and do some raffles. Everybody